y equals negative 4x plus 8, and y equals x minus 7. Okay. And so hopefully by now you guys know that if I can help in any way with organizing and helping you guys keep your work organized, that I try to do that. So I'm going to show you what method I like when setting up substitution that helps keep me organized. If you look at this word substitution, what letter appears a lot?
Subtract.
So just the letter. What letter repeats a lot?
Sub.
S.
So S repeats twice. What other letter repeats a lot?
T.
T. Subtraction.
So when you see substitution, there are a lot of T's in it. We're going to actually use a T chart to help us solve. So I'm just going to draw a giant T chart in my notes. I'm going to take this y equals equation and I'm going to put it on this side. And then I'm going to take this other equation, which also just happens to be y equals, and I'm going to put it on this side. Substitution, something takes the place of something else. So for substitution, we're looking for an x equals or a y equals equation, okay? We have a y equals equation. We actually have two of them. I'm going to take this first one. So I'm going to circle everything that comes after the equal sign. Okay. And because it's y equals, this is going to be substituted in for the y. Y equals, y equals. Okay. So my new equation, I'm going to follow my arrow, would be negative 4x plus 8. And now I'm going to write the rest of the equation. So equals x minus 7. What can I answer so far? This is the hardest part, the substituting in. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Do we do the variables first or the numbers first?
For when we solve?
Yes.
Your choice. Either way, we should end up with the same answer. I'm going to do the variables first because that's my preference, but it actually doesn't matter, Jonathan. Okay. After you substitute in, though, do check, guys. Notice the only variable I have right now is x. If you have x and y, you didn't substitute in correctly. Okay, so Jonathan's right in that our next step, we're just going to start solving for x. Okay, I like putting the variables together first, so I'm going to subtract x from both sides. Negative 4 minus 1x would get me to negative 5x. I still have plus 8. X minus x cancels out. And I drop down my negative 7. Okay, we're just going back to the beginning of the school year where we solved for x. Move my 8, it's a positive, so I'm going to subtract. Divide, divide, watch the negative signs. And we end up with x is equal to 3. This is not my final answer, though. When we graphed, we ended up with
The y.
Yeah, we need to find y. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to bring it to all the empty space over here. And I'm going to put 3 in for x into this equation. So y equals -4 times 3 plus 8. And now you're solving for y. Because what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the ordered pairs at the end of this. Okay. Any questions on the first one before we take a look at a second one? Let's try another one then. Y equals 6x plus 7.
So if it says y equals, what happens if, how would you know if it says x? If you know how to substitute it for x?
We will talk about that before class is over, so hold on for me, Jonathan.
Okay.
Okay. So we've got y equals 6x plus 7 and 2x plus y is equal to 15. Rochelle, you've got to give me some more details because I don't know how to answer that yet.
Shouldn't we solve the second one for y?
You do not have to.
Okay.
Did not, because that's an extra step and I am lazy.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, it's okay, guys, that we only have one equation that's y equals. It's okay that the other one's in standard form. We can still actually use substitution here. So I'm going to put my y equals equation first again. Okay, just write out my two equations. Circle my y equals. And then because it's y, I'm going to substitute it in for y. So 2x, because that doesn't change. The only thing that's changing is what's going in for y. So y is going to become this. So plus 6x plus 7 is equal to 15. Notice I only have x's right now in my equation.
We can plus them.
What's up, Jonathan?
We can add the two x's.
Yep, and that's what I would do first. Okay. Some of you, I'm sure, are working ahead and solving this. I'm going to pause, though. Are there any questions? You can either type into Zoom chat or unmute yourself. Any questions for where this part's coming from? Because this is the hardest part. As you're solving it, if you have questions, ask, but I'm going to put my like terms together. Get x by itself, so move my 7 over. If you're working ahead, don't just stop at x equals though. Okay, make sure you're going back and finding me y as well. And that once we have that x, we're substituting it back in because we also want to figure out what y is. To write our final answer as an ordered pair. So we should be ending up with 113 for our final answer. You guys have seen too, so what I'd kind of like to do and what I just did with my last class, I'm going to put a third one up here, give you guys a few minutes to kind of try it, ask questions, run your answers by us. And then the fourth one is when Jonathan, we're going to talk about that x equals that you asked about earlier. So that'll be example 4. Okay.
Okay.
On 3, guys, here's 3 for you guys to try. And you can ask me questions about this. You can ask questions about a different problem that we've done. When you have an answer for 3, send it in. If you want to solve for x first and then ask me, you can do that. So taking a look at 3, here's my y equals. Since it's y equals, it's going to go in for y. My x drops down. 4x goes in for y equals 75. Put them together to get 5x. Divide and we end up with 15. Take your 15 and bring it back over to solve for y. And we end up with 60. So final answer, which a lot of you are sending in, x is 15, y is 60. This would be your final answer, yes. Okay. A lot of the times for substitution, it's going to be a y equals. But if you think back, Jonathan brought up at the beginning class, hey, what happens if it's x equals? So that's what our last example is going to be today, is what happens if we have an x equals, how does that change things for the solving process? I do kind of want to see what you guys try with it first. So I'm going to put the last example up here. Give you 2-3 minutes just to kind of get started on it, not necessarily solve it completely. And then I'll come back and we'll walk through it and we'll see how you guys did. So the last example is going to be x equals y plus 6 and x equals 10 minus y. So take 2-3 minutes, just see how far you can get. And then we'll come back. Now is also a good time if you're not sure to try to be asking questions. Good, Christian. Yes, Jasleen. Okay, so like I said, I was only gonna
I
give
need more time.
I wouldn't say. So I can give a little bit more time for you guys to be able to check answers. I do want to give you guys as much time as possible to work on the homework. So I am going to go ahead and work through this one. So x equals, I'm going to circle the x equals. There's two of them. It actually doesn't matter which one you circle, but I'm going to circle the first one. And this would go in for x this time. Okay, because it's x equals, so my equation would go in for x, which means my new equation, I'm going to have y plus 6 is equal to 10 minus y. Notice I only have y's in my equation right now. If I had x's and y's, then that would be wrong. Okay, but I only have y, so I can go ahead and I can solve for y. Squeeze it in the corner, I end up with y is equal to 2. We keep talking about solutions, so it's the point of intersection, it's this ordered pair. So right now I only have one number, I need to find the other number. I need to use this space that's all left over here. So this y equals 2 is gonna come over here, and I'm gonna substitute into this equation. I don't know what x is still, but I know what y is. So I have x equals y becomes 2 plus 6. 2 plus 6 is 8. In Schoology on your homework tonight, you would be typing that in as 8, 2. And I think if it's a fill in the blank question, you'll put a number in for each blank. Make sure you're putting them in the right order, guys. X has to come first. If you switch your order, you're gonna get marked as wrong every time. These are the notes for today, okay? Just those 4 problems. This is mostly what is on your homework for today. You